Hello, and today we're going to be covering Space Marines. Now, the thing with Space Marines is before you even start, you've got decisions to make. Depending on which army you're fighting against, it'll influence how your build order begins. Normally, people go for 2 Scout Marines if they just want to capture units. Strategic points, get them captured. Some people, they'll go for 3, sometimes 4 Scouts. And the reason for this is because you can build sniper training right off the bat. Now, what this lets you do is if you build 3 squads, get the sniper training upgrade, you will eventually be able to basically cover the whole map with snipers. If you micromanage them, they can have better range than most units, even better than fire warriors are upgraded. And they can start dealing morale damage, picking off units and giving you a real advantage when it comes to requisition. If you've equal with the other person for rec, and then you start taking units off them, especially builder units, it can be really powerful. So if you don't do that, an alternative is build a couple of plasma generators, and you can start making vehicles early. You rush tier 2, get the vehicles, and that's a great way to really punish the more aggressive players if you're able to get the tech before them and weather the storm. Now that the research is complete, you can see down here we've got upgrade sniper rifles as an option. That's 38 to 44 damage each, costs 20 power each, so they're quite expensive, so that's why people don't always go for them. So first thing I did was build a chapel barracks. You saw me do at the beginning. Chapel barracks starting off tier 0, tier 1. You can build Space Marines and 1 Force Commander. Now that leads me to my next point, is with Force Commander, it's part of a build called the Three Kings, which we'll go through it tier by tier, but essentially when you get to tier 2 you can build this guy called a Chaplain. He has Force Commander armor as well. So the Force Commander himself, he has Commander armor. So what that means is you get light infantry, heavy infantry, vehicles, commander armor, and then demonic armor. That's kind of like a quick tier list of powerful armors. And each weapon deals damage differently, depending on the type of armor you're up against. But just going to quickly get the Monastery HQ set up at the moment. Yeah, let's go for it, why not? Because we'll cover the Space Marines, we'll cover the Force Commander. As you can see, the Force Commander here, he's got his sword and his bolt pistol. You can upgrade them with an armory, and that's part of the Three Kings strategy. And if you press this little attach button in the corner here, you can attach them to a Scout unit or a Space Marine unit. Speaking of which, Space Marines, they're the standard squad. Now, starting out, you can't really get any upgrades, but they cost 50 to reinforce and cost 190 to make a new squad. So you can do the maths. You start off with 4 units. It might actually be better to build 2 squads than to fully upgrade 1 squad. Now, next thing I want to say is that with the Space Marines tier 1, you can build what's called an armory. Now that lets you upgrade the Space Marines. So we do have this on easy mode, so they're not going to give us much damage. But this armory, quite handy, because it allows you to build lots of other things, upgrades, squads, etc, etc. Now the next thing I want to cover, just before the armory, is skull probes. Now, starting out, these are the only way you're going to detect stealth units. So if you're up against Tau, these are helpful. The skull probes themselves can be attached to units, so they don't have to be independently moved around. The other thing is with skull probes, they've got an ability that lets you disable buildings. Now if you cast your mind over to the Necrons specifically, they've only got 1 building that produces everything. So if you can sneak a skull probe in, use the sabotage ability, you're basically stopping them making stuff, and it really disrupts their army. With regards to scouts, it's not worth upgrading to the full squad unless you're going full snipers. You can build 2 units, or sorry, 2 heavy weapons, Starting out, same with Space Marines. When you get the armory, this allows you to build flamers on the scouts and the marines. So let's just attach this guy, just so I can show you what it's like. Now, the flamers en masse are really good at breaking morale, and there's two schools of thoughts with the Space Marines. The first one is you buy one of each weapon, and that allows you to mix and match, and really doesn't give the enemy a preferred unit to try and attack. The other option is you can just wait until you get to tier 2 and then get missile launchers on everything. Now, the reason this works is because when you get to tier 2, enemies going to be at tier 2 and they are going to be really trying to push vehicles. And missile launchers are one of the best ways to counter vehicles with Space Marines. So, next thing is the armory. Tier 1, before you upgrade the monastery, you're going to have access to bionics, which increases the health of all Space Marines and Scouts. Wargear power weapons and Wargear plasma pistols. Now, this affects sergeants that you can buy in Space Marine squads, and it affects the commander. So, commander's got the power sword and bolt pistol here. If we upgrade these two, he will get different versions. So when we get to tier 2, we're going to start covering these things. First thing is chaplain. Second thing, like the chaplain is a single unit, it's a commander, you can attach it to other units, powerful melee, and has an ability that can damage morale quite well. Second thing is you can buy infiltration for the scouts and skull probes. And that's quite handy for making sure that the scouts, if they do have snipers, expensive snipers, that they don't get taken out easily.
Gathering intelligence. Attack. Scouts in position. Commencing infiltration.
So, we've covered all these. Plasma guns and flamers are not worth getting for the scouts. It's 30 and 10 and 40 and 5, but for the Marines, 40 and 10, 40 and 15. Reason for this is because the Marines are more survivable. They've got more HP, can take more damage. And that sound means we have the chaplain. As you can see, a big mean guy with a skull. Got a big mace to take enemies down. Really powerful. Especially when you build Grey Knights, which we'll get to in a minute. And attach your guy to Grey Knights, and that can deal a lot of damage.
Scouts awaiting orders.
Now, we've covered tier 1 here, and we've covered the upgrades here. Next thing we're going to do is when you get the armor, you can also build Assault Marines. Now, these guys are just like Space Marines, except they've got jetpacks, and they've got power like chainswords. So they're great for jumping in melee, and you can get an upgrade that's melter bombs, which makes them good against vehicles as well. You can get frag grenade upgrade for the basic Space Marines. Now what that'll do is you'll see a little icon here. You can use it as an ability, throw it and it'll deal damage, it'll knock down creatures. Fantastic when you're up against other infantry. So tier 2, you've got access to all the weapons. You've also got access to a sergeant as well, which is great for boosting morale, and he gets affected by the same upgrades as the Force Commanders, who has been upgraded to have the Power Axe and Plasma Pistol now, as you can see. Getting a swing in there. Now the Chaplain, Moralize and Shout, just scares the life out of these guys. So, let's have a look at the Assault Marines. As you can see with the jetpacks, they can skim along there. Can also get a sergeant, and with this jump pack ability, they can basically jump over half the map, jump over heavy terrain. Really good against people like Necrons and against Tau. So as you can see, we've got the frag grenade upgrade finished. Throw the grenade, knocks everyone down. So Space Marines themselves, let's go through the different weapons. Flamers are good for morale. Short range, cheap and easy, early. Heavy bolters, you need to stand still to use them. Great against infantry, longer range. A bit more, well, same price as Flamers. Plasma gun, you can use it on the go. Like, you can move and shoot at the same time, and it's great for heavy infantry. Rocket launchers, missile launchers are the best in my opinion because you can take out vehicles. Adds a lot of versatility to the Space Marines. Now, as you can see, because they've got a sergeant, they've got the rally upgrade there. You can just press that, give them the morale back. Next thing we're going to do is go through the armory, the upgrades for tier 2. Starting at the bottom, if you've already bought the power sword, you can get power fist, which is an even more powerful upgrade for the Marines sergeants. You can get bionics level 2, upgrading the hit points by a big chunk again. Target finders doesn't increase the range, but it increases accuracy and damage for Space Marines at range stance. Then heavy weapons increase allows you to get 4 heavy weapons instead of 2 for the Marines. And the next thing is Furious Charge, which is connected to Grey Knights. So don't bother getting it until you've got Sacred Artifact. Now that that's all covered, we're going to go to the Sacred Artifact first. So if you're going to go 3 Kings build, Force Commander, Tier 2, Chaplain, Sacred Artifact, and then you'll be able to build a Librarian once you've got this open. You can also use it to upgrade the Sergeants, so they get better hit points, and they're tougher, they get more abilities. Now the good thing about the Chaplain is if you don't need to attach him to a unit, but it does increase the hit points a lot and regeneration of hit points.
We are united in his service.
Now, we have the Sacred Artifact open. You can buy Apothecaries. I really enjoy them. They're kind of like a light version of the Chaplain. They're just attached to units. They've got a chainsword and they can help regenerate health a lot.
Yes, Lord.
Next thing is Librarian. You can only have one of them, so this will be the third of the 3 Kings. You can build these 3 commander units and build the upgrades for them, and that kinda is strong enough to take on a lot of armies. The next upgrade, Commander Veteran, just gives all your commanders extra hit points. We can resolve as an extra ability you can use for the Librarian, and you need to activate it. But the Inspiring Aura is great because it's an automatic ability that goes to your Force Commander. Everyone around the Force Commander will have a little ring around them, and basically they get bonuses as a result of this. It's just a damage bonus. I say just, like it's not much, but it's the only thing that it'll affect. Now, there's your Apothecary. It's always white, and change his shoulder pads to match your army, but he's a melee specialist. So, once you get to the tier 2, you can get enhanced target finders, which is like the second ranged marine upgrade. And you can start building Grey Knights because you've got the Sacred Artifact now. Now, a good combo is getting this Librarian and attaching it to the Grey Knights because they've got all these different abilities, and the Librarian can detect stealth units as well. So you're not relying on those skull probes only. Now, once you get to the next tier, you can buy additional things here, but don't worry too much about that right now. But you only need tier 2 to get all the upgrades for your basic units. So that's covered everything at the moment. The next thing we're going to do is cover the Machine Cult, which is how you're going to build vehicles. Now, the Machine Cult itself, let's just double check how much that costs. 125 power, and then the first upgrades as well, if you add those together, that's how much power you need to kind of rush the vehicles. Bear that in mind. Once that Machine Cult's up, we're going to go through all the Machine Cult options.
There is no such thing as innocence.
At the moment, we'll show you the power of the Grey Knights. They've got halberds, they're great melee, but they don't have jump packs like the assault marines. And they do have boulders as well, so they do decent range damage.
My knowledge is at your
So the main thing is, if you buy the upgrade, they can rush in, they really close the distance, which is helpful for melee units specifically.
I await your instructions.
Now, machine cult's all built up. You've got 4 main things you can start off with. Rhino transport is cheap, and it's great for moving units around the map. The mobility is underappreciated by newer players, but when you start getting into it, you realise how valuable mobility can be. And the best thing about Rhino, doesn't take up any vehicle cap. Next one is Land Speeder. Now, they come in 2 flavours, the standard Land Speeder and Land Speeder Tempest. Oh, I forgot to mention, you can buy smoke launchers, but the Rhino doesn't have any weapons. Smoke launchers are just kind of utility.
we shall be, my brother. I serve mankind.
Now, the next thing, Land Speeders. 2 different flavours. The first one is just a standard Land Speeder. You see it's got the 2 guns there, it's got the machine guns there. It's fast, mobile, it can jump, but it doesn't have great damage apart from infantry. So keep that in mind. Now we are kind of getting rushed a little bit here, so let's just focus on getting some more units out just to make sure we don't get absolutely obliterated. So, we got the 2 land speeders side by side. I'll show you the difference, but the standard one is more of a skimmer. This one flies higher. It's kind of got more of a reinforced front. And you can choose the 2 different upgrades. Crack missiles for buildings and vehicles, or frag missiles for general infantry. And depending on which one you choose, they can specialise, so it's kind of favoured in that way. And the next thing we're going to cover is the Dreadnoughts. You get Vanilla Dreadnought, which is more melee, 305 power, or Hellfire Dreadnought, which 250, it's more ranged, great against infantry. Hellfires start off with like a machine gun sort of thing. Dreadnoughts, they start off with 2 big power fists and flamers. You can upgrade to assault cannon, you can upgrade to flamers, they're more versatile. They do take a big chunk of your vehicle cap though, so bear that in mind. Now, that's everything for tier 2. So let's go to tier 3. Get the monastery, and you can see what happens with that.
He who stands with me shall be my brother.
Now, here's your normal dreadnought. As you can see, they can only upgrade to the assault cannon at this point. You do need the tier 3 to get the las cannon. But that makes it a fearsome long-range anti-vehicle weapon.
Yes, my lord.
And here's the other one, the Hellfire Dreadnought. Now, it's got rocket launchers, it's got machine gun, but it doesn't have any fists. So as you can see, they're both powerful, but they serve different purposes. Now, that covers all of these vehicles. Once we get upgraded to the next tier, I'll show you what else we can work with. As you can see, the armory, once you buy an upgrade, if it's destroyed, you've still got the upgrade. It lasts you for the whole game, so don't worry too much about losing your armory.
Fortress with its gates unbarred and unguarded.
And you can see the Hellfire Dreadnought is really good at taking the vehicles out. This Vanilla Dreadnought just wanders in and kind of getting torn up, but he's got great melee damage. Let's try the Assault Cannon just so you can see what it looks like.
Knowledge is power. Hide it well.
How about we get a servitor down here and repair this guy? So what I'm going to do, just going to try and delete that land speeder now. So, better idea is we're going to send all these vehicles in just so we can make up some space for the next tier. So now we've got the next tier. No change in the armory. No change in the chapel barracks yet. But you do get Command Hero Upgrade 2, and you get Battle Cry, which is an ability for the commander, and Word of the Emperor, which is an ability for the librarian. They both do different things, and it really adds to the utility of the librarian. Now, next thing is the Machine Cult. You can start building Predator tanks. They're expensive for energy, but they are really useful because they're great at taking out infantry, and they can be upgraded with las cannons. And that's the only major main change. The other thing is you can start building orbital relays. Now an orbital relay is really fun because you can kind of build units, build dreadnoughts, terminators, put it in the orbital relay, and then just launch them to any point of the map where they've got vision. And who doesn't like that? So let's have a look at this Predator tank. You can see it's got the cannon on top, it's got the bolters on the side. Nice and chunky. Ooh, that's a lot of heavy bolter turrets. Now, you can't upgrade these to las cannons until you get this next upgrade, Heavy Armor Deployment. Heavy Armor Deployment and the Orbital Relay are kind of like the tier 4, more or less. Because once you buy the Heavy Armor Deployment, that means you can upgrade the Predators, you can upgrade the Dreadnought, you can buy a Whirlwind, which is like a long-range artillery, I'll show you in a minute, and you can buy the Land Raider, which is basically like an upgraded mega tank that can transport Terminators inside. So we've got this orbital relay here. So yes, you can build Marines here, and you can build Terminators here, but if you build them in the orbital relay, build the Terminators, you can have a max of 1 squad each, but they're totally worth it. You've got like Assault Terminators, which are more melee. Terminators are melee and ranged, but they're super tanky. Orbital relay. Build Space Marines in here, or you can just build your normal Marines and put them in there. And they can deep strike, which means once that's done, you select the orbital relay, select the Marine drop pod, and then just click anywhere on the map. You'll see these little arrows, and the dudes should just land in a drop pod. Start kicking ass. It's a really good mobility. So when these Terminators are built, they go directly into the chapel barracks, which again, you can just, from the chapel barracks, you can select one of them and just orbital relay automatically. Isn't that neat? Now, let's show you these Terminators when they arrive. They teleport in. These are the standard Terminators. You can get 8 in a squad, but they've got these pretty powerful ranged. You can upgrade to 2 heavy flamers, tanky against morale, and assault cannons great against infantry as well. So you can see how deadly this can be, especially when you're able to drop them anywhere. Now, the other ones, the Deep Strike, the Assault Terminators over here. I'll show you what the difference is. These guys deep strike in, and you'll see that they've got big shields and hammers. So, big chunky melee. No ranged attack, but 100 to 135 melee each. And they can actually capture points, which you wouldn't think, but there you go. As you can see, this guy's got the big cannon here, this guy's got the flamer. Let's just try and attack on something. got good range on it. And look at that damage as well, and that's just from one of the assault cannons. So that's covered all of the orbital relay. You can make dreadnoughts and deep strike them in as well, but that's super expensive and it takes such a long time. Just do it at the end of the game. Now, personal teleporters. Once you build that, the Terminators can teleport around, which makes them even more viable. I think that's all of the infantry covered. Let's just build some more of these heroes just so you can see what the final forms look like. Now the next thing we have, because we've bought the upgrade, is you can get Whirlwinds and Land Raiders. Or a Land Raider. It's limited to one. 400 power, 400 requisition. You'll see why in a minute.
We await your command. Objective acquired.
An open mind is like a fortress with its gates unbarred and unguarded.
See, this is a pretty chunky Space Marine squad as it is. Not much getting past there. You've got all these rocket launchers that can take listening posts. You've got assault marines. And here's the Whirlwind. So it kind of looks like a Rhino, except it's got this big missile pod on its back. Takes a minute to set up, but as you can see, once it's set up, it can fly it at a really long range. So this barrier all the way around here, that's how far it can shoot.
Victory countdown has begun.
Oh no, we've taken too many, so we're going to be winning soon. But don't worry, we should be able to cover the tier 4 Land Raider before then. So let's have a look. Here's your Chaplain, fully upgraded. You can see that the power of the melee is ridiculous. Force Commander, they've got the battle cry, but they've also got orbital bombardment. Just choose anywhere in range. Once that gets called in, that's just going to start launching missiles in an area, dealing tons of damage. There he is, calling down the orbital strike. Which, if you've played Dawn of War 2, then you'll notice that's one of the ultimate abilities for the Space Marines. Pretty cool.
Today the enemy shall know fear. Walk softly and carry a big gun.
And the final unit is the Land Raider. Look at this big chunky guy. So you can use this Machine Spirit ability. It can basically make it take loads of damage, no problem. But here's the thing. Terminators can't be moved around in Rhinos. They're just too big and chunky. You can put them in a Land Raider though. So let's try and send a Land Raider. Look at that. All the way from downtown, hitting the 3-pointers. A Whirlwind can take out things cross-map. Which is just as well because it's got 2,500 hit points. But look, twin link las cannons on each side, takes tons of damage, over 100,000, 10,000 HP. Big cannon on the front, and then you just Terminators show up as well out of nowhere. Oh, Terminators can teleport now. There you go. Pretty cool, pretty handy, especially when you want to get the jump. Now the Machine Spirit, use it, you see it's got glow all over it, and it's not taking barely any damage now. But yeah, that pretty much covers the whole Space Marine army. But if there's any tactics, any questions, anything I've missed, leave a comment. It's always good for the algorithm, it makes you look smart, and it does help the other players, so it's probably the best thing for the community. And yeah, if you want to see more of these, leave a like, and I'll catch you in the next guide. Have a good one. You know, it's only going to take a couple of seconds, so why not? Let's just destroy this field command. It is getting absolutely melted. Catch you in the next one. Bye.